this is a torus, and this is what I observed and then research supported that our magnetic field is. So if this is your biofield, it's banded, it has 12 bands, and then this is your body in the middle. So what I would say is that your electric bioplasmic biofield, your electrical system, is what we call your mind, your sense of I, your consciousness, your awareness, the part of you that is alive. It contains your thoughts. It contains all your memories. So if you think about how we create memories, everything we see and smell and touch and taste and feel and respond to is all an electrical impulse in the body. So it would make sense that our memories are stored in our electrical system. And that's exactly what I found. What I found as I poked around in the atmosphere around the body and I found these charged areas, what these charged areas were memories. And they were very specific memories. And what happened is over the course of a number of years of working with many people, I observed a pattern, what I call the biofield anatomy map. So just like you and I have the same kind of inner anatomy, we have the same exterior anatomy, and that the biofield has a very specific anatomy and physiology, and it has all different kinds of features in it. But one of the most primary ones, and what we really deal with in biofield tuning, is your memories. And so what I observed in going through the field was that I found a boundary about 6 feet away. And when I had looked at images of esoteric renderings of energy fields, for example, like the 7 koshas, where you see energy bodies of different densities and they become more and more fine as they move away from the body, but I'd never seen a membrane or a boundary back then. Now we see them more commonly again, but back in 2008, 2009, 2010, there weren't many images that showed the field that way. And so after sort of poking around, it was really a blind fumble in the dark with momentary flashes of illumination where I would suddenly see a pattern. So it was really through pattern recognition and working with people's ailments. So for example, anytime somebody came in with me to see me and they had a left sore shoulder, I always found that there was that they were sad, that something sad had just happened. And as I investigated the field, I would find memories that were sad. And the way that I could tell that it was sad, there are a couple different ways. One is, Amrit, if you and I were listening to a sad song, I wouldn't need to tell you that the song was sad, because you would just know it, right? You would feel it in the music and how it makes you feel. So when tuning forks are moving through the biofield and they come across a memory, that memory is vibrationally encoded there, right? Like vibes don't speak English, they speak vibration. And so I've learned the language of vibration through the tuning forks over almost 30 years of working with them now. And we can find these memories, angry memories, sad memories, frustrated memories, or even current experiences because of the way the sound changes. Just like music, it evokes a particular feeling. And sometimes some people really see images. They like see the memories. They see things that are very specific because it is absolutely vibrationally encoded in standing waves. And the charge or the resistance that we find is basically unhealed trauma. It's unexpressed. A lot of it I feel like is trapped sound, because oftentimes when we have trauma, we internalize our reaction, right? It's not so much the trauma itself, but the trauma response in the body and how that gets kind of frozen. And so then that ends up corresponding. If you have felt a whole lot of sadness and you're generating the magnetic emotion of sadness, and it's hanging out off of your left shoulder because that's the file drawer where sad memories get stored, it has an actual weight. So I'll just give an example of that. I was working with a woman. I was at a little event that was poolside at a spa, and I was just doing chair sessions. And this woman came and sat down, and she said, "Oh, my left shoulder hurts so much, and I've had this and that and this test, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it just hurts." And so I went in and started investigating with my fork. Now, the way that the field gets generated is sort of like hair. So as your hair moves away from you, right, it's a new hair close and old hair far away. It's the same with your memories. So as your electrical experience of life gets generated, it sort of feeds out into these standing waves. So what I find is that memories from gestation are in this outer boundary. Birth is just inside of that. And then if I put a tuning fork 6 feet away, it's like dropping a needle on an album, and I can actually read the vibrational record of your life. So if you're 40, I'm going to find memories that were generated when you were 20 about 3 feet away from you. If it's a sad memory, I'm going to find it off that left shoulder. So with this woman, where I was finding the sadness was really close, speaking that it was recently generated. And I said, did you lose someone close to you in the last year or two? And she said, oh, yes, I lost my husband and I'm still so sad and everyone tells me to get over it and I can. So she was just burdened by this emotion that she had been generating that actually has mass. This is the weird thing about it, is that there is a mass. So what's also really interesting to understand is that magnetic fields guide and inform electric currents. So if you are generating a lot of magnetic emotion in a particular area of your body field, then that's going to pull electricity to it. It's going to magnetize electricity. And so you're going to end up with too much voltage running through those wires. A lot of times pain is just like too much current. Inflammation is a jam up of electrical energy. And so with my tuning fork, I'm able to do that click, drag, and drop thing. So I just came and I clicked on all that heavy cloud of sadness sitting on her shoulder, and I dragged it to the midline of her body and dropped it in. And you go back and it's not heavy and funky sounding there anymore. And this woman got up and she rotated her shoulder and she said, oh my God, all of the pain is gone. It's just gone. Like, she couldn't believe it. And she sat there on the other side of the pool watching me work, and just with this look of astonishment on her face. And she couldn't believe she'd been to all these doctors, and in 10 minutes this lady with a tuning fork had like taken away her pain.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.